data, we
Mothra, the Queen of the Monsters, versus Queen Muto. Well, Queen of the Mutos. Now, this is incredible. We finally have two female kaijus in the Monsterverse fighting. Now, it's made by Go to Center. So if you haven't checked out Go to Center, go check them out right now. But besides with that, who do I think is going to be winning in this fight? Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's close. It's really close. The female Muto has the strength advantage, the weight and size, but Mothra has the speed, battle experience. But I think personally, it's going to be extremely close, but I'm going to have to go with Mothra. But it may change. The female Muto could easily demolish her. But I think personally, it's going to be extremely close. Extremely, my personal opinion. But besides all that, let's get watching this. Let me know who you're voting for. Let me know in the comments. Comment below who are you voting for right now. Mothra or the Muto. Get watching this. Play. Say it with me. Ding ding. Good.
Today, the battle arena will witness an epic battle featuring two of the most popular titans in the Monsterverse. On one end, a titan known for its benevolent nature, but one who will not hold back when it's time to fight. The one and only Mothra. The other, a female Muto specimen who has seen death, blood, but most importantly, earned one of the highest status symbols within the species, only awarded to the veteran specimens. This is no ordinary Muto. This is the Queen Muto.
Oh, yes.
In this episode, we will go down to the hard facts and analyze their strengths and weaknesses to determine the winner of this fight. So sit back and get ready to witness this channel's first all-female fight to determine who is the ultimate queen of the monsters.
Oh, yes.
Before we begin this battle face-off, we quickly want to show you some gameplay footage of me playing Tacticool, our sponsor. This is a 5v5 multiplayer shooter mobile game featuring intense combat, destruction, and as you can see, pretty realistic physics, which is what I love about this game. If you're sold already, go download the game via my link or use this QR code on the screen and use code TACTIDE to get 50 Jason shards, an RPG, and 50,000 silver. Back to the game. Here you can customize your loadout to your liking and go out there and light these people up with the weapon of your choice. Or you could be like me and hop in a car and just squish them. It looks like fun here, but it's more fun when you're actually playing. There are many game modes to play, including Capture the Bag, Control, and Team Deathmatch. Some of these maps will even throw zombies at you. If you get good enough and want to further disrespect your enemies, this game gives you several ways to do just that. I know. It's great, isn't it? So if you don't want to miss out on all the fun and support the channel at the same time, you can find the QR download code right here, and the link is in the description. And make sure you use the code TACTIDE to receive 50 Jason shards, an RPG, and 50,000 silver to get a massive head start in the game. I really enjoyed playing this, and so will you. Thanks to Tacticool for supporting this channel, and now, let's get back to our battle face-off.
Let's go! Come on! That's what we're waiting for.
In order to proportionately size up these monsters and simulate an accurate fight, we first need to understand their corporal builds and the first battle attribute, resistance. Mothra, or also known as Titanus Musura, is a massive winged kaiju who evolved from the Lepidopteran order of giant insects, more specifically, moths. For this battle, we will not be using the larval form. At first glance, this monster looks quite massive. But by measuring it up close, we find that this animal's actual body is around a mere 52 feet in height.
So wings are massive,
its
but
wings,
a body's
however,
small.
cover a wingspan of over 800
It's more of an intimidation to splash,
dwarfing the area coverage of its opponent. This creature's body was protected with a chitinous armor that covered its entire body, serving as a durable exoskeleton for a titan of this size. Similarly, the Queen Muto was also covered in an exoskeleton. But it's important to note that the Muto species also contain an endoskeleton, further strengthening its body. But how big were these? We know that female Mutos measure approximately 300 feet in height, and there is no official mention that Queen Mutos are considerably larger than the standard female specimens. In this simulation, we will account for the spiked formations
Yeah,
along its
that's
back,
the one from God to
subtly increasing
2014,
its
and
overall
that's
height
the
to
female.
around 310 feet. So,
just
which
in-
of these titans is better built to fight? Taking into
I'll say
account
the
that there
female
is a
Muto.
stark difference in the amount of
I mean, the
mass
Queen
that these
Muto. What
creatures
they
bring
both
to this
are.
battle. The Queen Muto is seemingly built to be able to withstand more damage from its opponent. For this reason, in this round, the edge for resistance
could
and
agree with
corporal
that.
build
Yes.
will go to the Queen Muto.
I agree with that.
Battle experience.
That goes to
In
Mothra.
this particular
Mothra all
face-off,
the
we
way.
will use battle experience as a
Mothra
fair indicator of these titans' level of battle
can-
intelligence. Note that both of these particular specimens are
Mothra can
extremely
rebirth.
battle-hardened titans.
She's not
Yes,
immortal.
both.
She can
Let's begin
rebirth,
with Mothra.
come back to life.
In the MonsterVerse lore, it is explained that Mothra has a particular ability that singles it out from all other titans. Reincarnation.
Reincarnation,
This is
that's the
defined as
words.
the recurring process of coming back to a living state after death.
Yes.
But this doesn't end
She's not
here.
immortal.
After Mothra
Remember that,
resurrects,
guys.
it will still hold the memories of the previous Mothra incarnations. All of them. Meaning that any battle experience picked up by every single Mothra in
remembers.
existence is now housed inside this current specimen. This is possible due to Mothra's habit of laying an egg before going out to fight other kaiju. If it dies, then the next Mothra will hatch. Going back in time, we see that Mothra has faced an array of titans before, including Ghidorah and even the Kong species. This compilation of knowledge and experience gained throughout millions of years will be used against its opponent. But how does the Muto compare? Let's make something very clear. You don't just turn into a Queen Muto after winning one fight. This mark of superiority is earned with blood. It is mentioned that this particular Muto specimen is very old and experienced. This is notable from the obvious markings and scarring of this Muto specimen. This means that the Muto had to endure a continuous amount of combat throughout its life. If you know anything about Mutos, these guys are particularly good at fighting Godzillas, arguably the most powerful Titan species in this franchise. So that said, it is obvious that both of these
say the
titans
most
are perhaps
powerful,
some
but
of the
so
most
close.
battle-hardened creatures in the
most powerful
MonsterVerse.
top five is
Both
Kong,
with plenty of opportunities to fight very dangerous
Muto
kaiju,
Prime,
making this a
Mechagodzilla,
draw in
Ghidorah,
battle
and
experience.
Thermogodzilla.
Locomotion. When it comes to locomotion, we will take into account how fast and how agile their movements are. In Godzilla
Mothra.
King of the
Mothra
Monsters,
takes
we
that.
see Mothra
Mothra takes
moving
that.
at very high speeds when she joined the fight against Ghidorah and Rodan. Her preferred method of locomotion is obviously flight. In 2019, Mothra joined the fight while airborne, rapidly flying past Ghidorah while avoiding any terrestrial melee combat. We can assume that Mothra will use this same methodology against Queen Muto, as it would not make any sense for Mothra and Muto to engage in an exclusively terrestrial encounter. The Queen Muto, on the other hand, or all female Mutos for that matter, are limited to ground locomotion, even though they are technically capable of moving faster sporadically for short periods of time. This speed and ground maneuverability is practically useless against a Titan that can move on both the X and Y axes. In this battle, this attribute will be something Mothra will have to exploit to avoid getting killed.
give that.
Therefore, Mothra takes the edge when it comes to locomotion. Overall strength.
Queen
In this
Muto.
particular
Queen
face-off,
Muto. She's way
strength
too
will be the
strong.
attribute to determine which of these titans can kill the other and how fast. Let's go back to the corporal comparison. We see here that in terms of body composition, the Queen Muto far outweighs Mothra in both external and internal aspects.
Facts.
This includes musculature and armor.
Indeed.
In King of the Monsters, we witnessed Mothra literally getting ragdolled by Rodan in midair against other tall structures. After further observation, Mothra really never displayed any signs of physical pushback against Rodan, suggesting that against an even larger foe, Mothra would struggle to inflict significant shock damage to its opponent. If you saw one of our previous face-off videos featuring the male Muto, you would have already learned that Muto species are exceptionally
that was my mistake,
strong.
guys. I chose the male
In
Muto.
2014, we witnessed a smaller male Muto
Sorry,
specimen
my
drag
mistake.
a Russian Typhoon-class submarine many miles inland. Based off of these feats, we can assume that the much larger specimens, let alone a Queen Muto, would be more than capable of inflicting killer blows backed up by this immense level of strength. Because this is a female, this particular sex in this species is much more
females are
bulkier
bigger.
than its male counterpart, making it obvious that for this combat
Mama
attribute,
milkers.
the Queen Muto takes the edge in overall strength. Auxiliary weaponry. This flying titan is equipped with weapons that can potentially handicap its
Mothra.
opponents in two
got
different
Sting.
ways. The first weapon that we will discuss is its silk attack ability.
And the
this
silk,
is
yes.
when Mothra spits a wide web out of its mouth, which is strong enough to ensnare or tangle even the largest of titans. But in order to use this weapon effectively, Mothra will have to come somewhat close to its opponent in order to successfully cover the titan with this silk. How strong is it? Silk is a natural fiber made out of special proteins which are produced inside certain insects such as silkworms and spiders. If you didn't know, silk is one of the strongest and most resistant materials in the world. According to some studies, it has been revealed that silk is proportionally 5 times stronger than steel. You heard that right. 5. Looking back on how Mothra managed to successfully trap 2 of Ghidorah's heads, we see that the only reason they were set free was thanks to Godzilla, who just destroyed the building altogether. Had Godzilla not intervened here, Ghidorah would have had a much harder time getting free. Mothra's abilities do not end here. These wings have the capability of glowing thanks to the natural phenomenon known as bioluminescence. These can glow in different color schemes, but the most powerful and damaging would be its God Ray ability. Beta wave light that is capable of blinding an opposing kaiju and dissipating strong winds in any direction, making this ability a highly disorienting tool for Mothra. All Muto species have a special ability commonly known as an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse.
That's why Godzilla's
this pulse is a disturbance that affects electrical circuitry and other energy-transmitting elements. But will these affect Mothra's bioluminescence? To answer this, we need to know how this phenomenon works.
I don't think so.
In the real world, most, if not all, bioluminescent animals and bacteria are able to emit light thanks to an element known as luciferin. When this element reacts with oxygen, it produces light. This chemical reaction is what you see whenever a firefly glows in the dark. Similarly, this giant insect's bioluminescence is created in the same way, not by electrical means, but by chemical reactions, which in this case are immune to EMPs. Mothra's 2 abilities can 1. Handicap an opponent's limbs, and 2. Blind them. While the Muto's EMP is basically harmless to Mothra, giving her the edge for auxiliary weaponry. Melee weaponry. Both of these titans have similar weapons that are used in relatively the same way, but at different scales.
But I think
both Mothra and the Queen Muto have forward-facing limbs tipped with sharp spikes. Both have been seen to make lethal impacts to an opponent, and in the Muto's case, draw blood when fighting the G-Man. But whose weapons are deadlier? By measuring the size of both of these weapons, we see that the Queen Muto not only has the bigger weapons, but also has the greater range, meaning that each impact will come packed with enough centrifugal force to possibly even impale Mothra with a single strike. But Mothra doesn't just have sharp forelimbs, she also has a stinger. This retractable weapon is housed in this titan's rear abdomen.
Now, I'll be honest, guys, Rodan in the Monsterverse
has the capability
is weak.
to pierce deep. As
His
it was shown in
durability
King of the
is
Monsters
weak
to
as hell.
effortlessly impale Rodan's chest.
I still need to do a video why Kong will beat him.
It is not officially mentioned that this stinger can inject any venomous agents, but even if it didn't, this thing is long enough to reach some of Muto's vital organs. That's if the Muto lets Mothra get close enough. But is this stinger enough to win the edge? The answer is found in these weapons' effectiveness. While Mothra can arguably inflict damaging blows to the Muto, it's only fair to acknowledge that a single impact of one of these massive Muto claws is more than enough to one-shot a small titan like Mothra, whereas it will take more effort to use and deploy these weapons effectively against a much larger opponent. For this reason, the Queen Muto takes the edge when it comes to melee weaponry. X Factor. Earlier in this video, we discussed how Mothra lays eggs prior to going out and putting herself at risk and possibly dying. This makes it possible for her to come back to life, along with her previous memories and experience. But this has an additional effect to her fight methodology. It was mentioned by official sources that because Mothra is able to reincarnate, she has, over time, lost her fear of death. Meaning that Mothra will bear this in mind when fighting the Queen Muto.
Because
the
she'll come back to
idea of
life.
getting killed will not be daunting enough for Mothra to think twice before making a bold move. Mutos are animals instinctually driven to terraform the surrounding biome, breed, and look for radiation sources. Female Mutos' maternal instincts are more finely tuned since this species exists to reproduce. meaning that if this Muto engages in combat during its reproductive stage, it will become even more aggressive, making fighting this Muto all the more dangerous.
Never getting Mama angry.
We are now ready to reveal who will be the winner of this fight.
Mothra, come on.
Mothra, with its light and agile build, wins the edge in locomotion
it's
and
very
auxiliary
close,
weaponry.
guys. I'll be honest, I think this is going to be very close.
The edge in
but
resistance,
I've got to go with
overall
Mothra.
strength, and melee
I
weaponry.
would choose the mirror, but
both of these titans
Mothra.
are equal in the critical attribute of battle experience. By compiling all of our data, we determined that Mothra would be the close winner of this fight.
Get in!
But it can depend on a few things.
Okay.
Let us explain.
Okay,
Although
go on.
the Queen Muto's stats looked as if she would win this fight, the
She did.
attributes that carried more weight in this battle
Was
were
experience.
these two: battle experience and locomotion. In close range, Mothra would not stand a chance against the Queen Muto.
That is
Since
correct.
we discussed that it would only take one blow to take down this smaller titan.
That's it.
So,
Done.
how did it win? It does not take a genius to realize that facing a much larger titan head-on would get you killed. Mothra's approach to this battle would be obvious. Keep your distance and wait for the right moment to strike. It just so happens that Mothra is equipped with the tools to allow her to get up close and strike a lethal blow. First, Mothra's blinding God Ray ability would be used to disorient the Muto, of course, at a safe distance, allowing Mothra to be able to get close enough to repeatedly ensnare the Muto's limbs until they are practically motionless. After Muto's limbs aren't able to protect her any longer, Mothra would now find an opening on Muto's only vulnerable spot: its nice, flat, exposed head. And by using its limbs to grapple onto this giant beast, it will now place itself in a perfect position to insert its stinger close to its brain or brain stem, paralyzing and killing the Muto in an instant. The other unlikely scenario would involve Mothra haphazardly getting too close to the Queen Muto and getting one-shotted by those massive claws. But realistically, Mothra wouldn't be stupid enough to let that happen.
True.
Having said this, it is obvious that both of these titans are capable of killing each other, but the title of Queen isn't just earned by strength.
It's
earned
close.
by knowing how to use it. What do you think a battle between Queen Mothra and Queen Muto would look like?
I still
Do you
Queen-
agree with this analysis?
I do, yes.
Did you know that if you don't subscribe to Goji Center, Rodan will pull up and destroy your whole house and your neighborhood? Just kidding, but seriously, you should
Okay,
subscribe.
that's good.
See you
That
in the
is
next
funny.
video.
That is funny. I like that. That is funny. For all the Patreons, thank you for the supporting. Right. What's my take on this? All of that, I do agree. It was very factual. I do absolutely agree what he said there. But I did think this was going to be close. It really was close. And I still think, obviously, I think I said it in the video, but I still think it was very close, extremely close. But Mothra's the queen. She's going to come out on top. And her intelligence and battle experience, and it's not going to stop her. Also, Goji Center, I've got a question for you. I want your next fight to be Kong versus Rodan. I'm serious. Do it, bro. I'm absolutely generally serious. Do it. Do it. But anyway, besides all that, but no, if he does that, also Goji Center, if you do that, I'll be really watching you. Extremely watching you. And see if you get it right. But I have faith you will, brother. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. I love that fight. I think it was brilliant. What did you guys think of the fight? How did you think he was going to win? And do you agree with his list or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please smash that like button and subscribe for more Goji Center reaction videos, more fights. And yeah, like, subscribe, and turn notifications so you know when I upload. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you around. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing, amazing, splendid day or night. Peace, guys. Take care. Team Mothra.